Thank you. Norm Krug, Sonoma Valley Inn. Hunt?
Hunt Bailey, Sonoma Valley Escapes.
Chris?
The Lodge at Sonoma.
Ruben?
Ruben Cambero at MacArthur Place.
Kathy?
Kathy Cabrera, City of Sonoma.
Dan?
Dan Parks, Inn at Sonoma.
This is time for public comment. There being no public comment, we will go to the consent items. There are no current consent items. So we'll start with you, Dan, with the financial update, if you'd please.
Well, I hate to be the continual bearer of bad news, but our financials, we are, let's say, put it this way, we're not in debt, but we're going to be severely restricted next year. The October, what should I say, collections by the city in November were 22,300 this year as compared to 83,000 last year. So that's a little more than 1/4 of what we did last year.
Yep.
And Dan, that was October or November? Did we just
It's October.
It was October.
It's just you always have to do a little calculation in your head, but the city collects in November for what happened in October. So those are the overall numbers. Those are as quick as we get them. So if it's any comfort, I think all of us are getting hit real hard.
Yep.
But
Yep.
but as far as our bank account, you know, this is sort of the time we have, I think we have, if we don't have everything transferred for our marketing to the marketing account, we have enough to cover it. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens as the dark winter goes on.
Yeah. And those numbers are COVID, but also fire related, right? Those numbers have to be fire related too. Because it's a significant drop over September.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Those numbers are fire related as much as they are COVID related. In that October there was no restrictions, and yet it's still 50% below September. Is that correct? Yeah.
Han, I'll just jump in. I think you're right in that the fires did not help, and then the fact that that it was a negative. A lot of cancellations happened because of the fires, but I'm also hearing just generally year to date, people are down anywhere from 40 to 60%, depending on their type of hotel. So it doesn't surprise me that a month comparison loss is 50% from the previous year.
At Sonoma Valley Inn in November, we've been having more cancellations than we've had bookings. And the fear when they announced the curfew from 10 to 5, forgetting the practicality of what it's doing any good of the virus, it scared a lot of our guests off, and we went from almost sold out on Thanksgiving down to about 25%. So we've been really hit hard by the virus and the state rules. Dan? I can't hear you, Dan.
Dan, you're muted.
I think you're muted, Dan.
Dan is muted, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to unmute it there. Let's see.
Yeah. Can we unmute him or?
I found it.
Okay.
There I am. We're having a particularly rough time right now, these couple weeks before Christmas holidays. And with the we're just doing the best we can to get through the winter.
So Norm, I have to, I apologize. I've got to jump at like 9:30. So Tim, and I don't see
Why don't we go, when Dan gets done, why don't we go to your report from the city, and then we'll go back to you, Tim, if you don't mind. We'll go out of order.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Dan, did you have anything further you wanted to add?
No, I think that covers just telling everybody what we know already.
Are there any comments or questions of Dan before we go to Kathy?
Nope.
Kathy, it's yours.
All right. Well, I'm trying to get on. I want to show you kind of what our, let me share my screen and show the,
Kathy, is it? Hold on here.
so, okay,
I just made the other Kathy the co-host, so you can share.
The other Kathy
Okay.
with less gray hair.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's just your commuter monitor, Norm.
yeah.
Her hair is
very
brown no
nice.
matter what.
Okay, so this, let me blow this up a little bit. This is our database. So again, you can see, it's not here, sorry, let me. It's not giving me all my, all right. So this shows, this is fiscal year. So
Kathy,
like,
if you can move it up, you get to the TID stuff.
yeah, well, this is here. This is the TID. So for example, this was TID in July of 2019.
Mhm.
Okay. And here is TID in July of 2020.
No. Well, that's those are all TOT. TID's down a little lower.
I know, but it's the same 2% for the purposes of, it is the TID, but for the purposes of looking at numbers, Dan, I don't
Okay.
break. For the purposes of numbers, this represents the same thing that you all are getting. Okay. So this was basically 50% of where we were in July, about 50% for August, a little less than 50 in September. And then obviously we're at about 25% in October. I think we'll be low in November as well. So this is kind of what it, where we are looking currently. Does that make sense to folks?
Kathy, could you, after the meeting, send everybody a copy of this?
Yeah, I'll PDF it and send it off.
Yeah, thank you.
So I guess what I wanted to do was kind of going forward, talk to you a little bit about here's where it sounds like where things are headed. You all know that we're now on this regional stay-at-home order. It's now based on the number of ICU beds, and it's based on number of skilled ICU beds, meaning those beds that they can staff, not just the ones that they can make. And this was a real question for a bit, was what was the definition of beds? They now have confirmed it's not just the bed, it's having the people to man the bed. So with that, the numbers are less. There's less beds available. Sacramento just got put in the regional order yesterday. Right now, Northern California and Bay Area are the only two regions that aren't. We are currently, as of yesterday, we're at 20.9. We've been moving closer to that 15% of ICU beds. I wouldn't be surprised if we're closer to 17, 18 when the new numbers come out today. And I think they get posted about noon or something. So in all likelihood, gentlemen, I think that we will probably be looking at hitting this 15% in the Bay Area by either Friday or Saturday. And then I think it's 40, I will confirm this, but I believe it's 48 hours after after we hit the skilled nursing, that then we're in regional stay at home, which means we're also in non-essential travel, and you can only have essential workers in your hotels. We go to no dining outside. It's only takeout, a variety of other restrictions. So We've talked to, we talked with Dr. Mays this morning on our city manager call, and there's kind of this question of does she kind of announce and say, kind of give a glide path so you all know, like, okay, it's going to be Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, but if she does that and then we hit the 15% sooner, it's going to cause confusion. So honestly, the way the numbers are starting to trend in the region, it's likely that we're going to hit that 15% Friday, if not Saturday. And I think the goal, frankly, I'm crossing our fingers we get through the weekend. So I think we can get through the weekend, but I think it's going to be early next week. So we'll know more information, and I'll send information out to Tim and Mark and Maureen once the information gets public, probably about noonish today when the state updates their database. But that's just kind of what I'm seeing on the horizon. I was hoping that we might, with the rest of the Bay Area locking down sooner, that maybe they would be able to kind of get some of this under control. But again, it's 2 weeks from Thanksgiving, right? We're seeing the Thanksgiving impact. And that's part of what's hitting us. So that's kind of the main thing that I wanted to make sure that you all know. And I don't know, Tim, it'd be good to see if the state's putting out more orders. I mean, there's logistic pieces, right? I appreciate for all of you that if you've got someone who booked to come into your hotel starting this Friday for 5 days, and let's pretend the health order goes in on Monday, but they're non-essential luxury travel. I don't know, but my assumption is you are asking them to leave effective that Monday. But I don't know that. So it'd be interesting to see what is that trend? Is there transition, or is it just kind of you're getting 48-hour notice? You're giving any of your customers 48-hour notice, and that's the way it's going to go. So Tim, I think that's a piece we want to try to unpack in the next day or so to be able to try to give some broader guidance to everyone.
And I think the California Hospitality Association, Kathy, had some information for those other regions in an email. I'll go back and look and also see what the Sonoma County Hospitality Association has.
So that's the main thing. I mean, that's just kind of where we frankly went a little further than I thought we'd go. But I do think I think we're early next week. So I think the only other piece is we have a council meeting on Monday. It's our last council meeting. We do have the annual vacation report, enforcement report. Tim, I'll send that to you once it's public, and you can forward that out to folks. And again, we were continuing to do a lot of kind of business support with parklets and tents and canopies. And, I think so we'll see. Again, the way this regional order works is once you are in the regional stay at home, it's a minimum of 3 weeks, but you have to get out of that 15%. So it could be 3 weeks, it could be 4, it could be 5. We don't know. So I'll also send Tim the link so you can go to where the state website is and where you can track some of that data.
Quick question on, just to clarify, so the minimum of 3 weeks, say we hit that 15% on the final day 21, right? Back up to 15.1% or whatever it is. Does it instantly revert back, or is there then a delay on top of that?
I don't know that either, Hunt. I'm not sure they know that yet. So
a follow-up question to something you said a few minutes ago. You mentioned we're at 20.9. You think we might go down to 17, 18%. Is there a specific website that you're looking at?
Yeah, I'll send the link to Tim. They pulled all this, the data. The state got their website updated about 3 days ago. So now you can look by county and you can look by region, and then they update the ICU pieces there on the site.
Perfect. Chris might have already sent that. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it quickly here. I can share my screen quick and show you. So, let me move this over if I can do. So this is the site that.
Oh, safer economy. Okay.
So safer.covid19.ca.gov, safer economy, and you scroll down here. And as you scroll down, you come to this current tier assignment. So this shows you the counties, and you can go to Sonoma County. You can say, okay, here's the story for Sonoma County, where we've been and what the current, like our current cases are 19.6 new cases per 100,000. We're at 5.7 positivity rate and 8.2 health equity. They started to publish the health equity. They didn't publish it for about a month. They started to publish that again. So that's for the state. That's for the county, I mean. And then if you can sort of see the C regions, you go there, and then you can go to Bay Area and see the 20.9. And then this shows you that shows you 20.9 ICU availability. And then you can go click at the tiers and it takes you back to the county.
So our shutdown is based upon the regions,
It's based on the region now.
so not a county-based
Nope.
number.
Nope. We are within the Bay Area. And every other, Sacramento entered the regional shutdown yesterday. San Joaquin and Southern California were in it a week ago. So you can see they're at 9% now, and they went in it on December 6th. San Joaquin's at 4.2. They went in at December 6th. Sacramento went in today on the 10th. They're at 14.3. Northern California, 27. They're not in it yet. And we're 20.9, not in it yet. But based on how things are trending and what's happening everywhere, you know, I was hoping we might dodge this a little bit, but I don't think we're going to. But I do think that, you know, there's a lot of good work happening in the Bay Area. So hopefully we come in and people are paying attention, and hopefully we can kind of, if we come into this, we can come out of it quickly. Is that helpful? As much as maybe it's not what anyone wants to hear by any stretch, but at least it's information.
Are there any questions of Kathy? We do appreciate the gloom and doom news being truthful and being told us, and we'll all work around it. And Chris, did you want to say something?
No, we're already preparing for closing down. So unfortunately, we have to let a lot of people go back on furlough starting Friday. So it's, you know, again, it is unfortunately what we are trying to manage through right now.
Ruben?
Same story, trying to figure out, you know, we just invested in a tent, tremendous amount of money. Now it's a rental. What do? You take it down, you keep going, you throw money away. I mean, it is insane. It is just insane. I mean, this is going to put businesses out of business, and one after another. So, you know, looking at options just to get some folks working, but that means more money into it. No assistance, no PPP, no nothing. So it's a very different situation from what it was in March.
Norm, I do want to give a little bit of, I don't know, I'll also send out, there's a little bit of, this is going to be a hard, dark couple months without a doubt. And it's not like been an easy road to begin with. So but there's also the UCLA Anderson forecast, Chris Thornburg and his group down there, smart folks. They've done really kind of done good forecasts. And they're basically expecting a robust economic recovery to begin in spring. So I'll send this out because I think there is this kind of keeping the hope, because people are not going to immediately get back on planes right away. So when we start to reopen, I do think, again, we could be positioned where people are going to want to travel, get out, see people, but they're not going to maybe do some of the broader pieces because not everyone's going to be vaccinated. But as we start to open, there could be spring could be good for us. So
You're going to send that to all of us?
yeah, I'll send it. I'll send the link to Tim and you can send it
I'll
out.
send all these out in one big batch.
Dan, did you want to add something?
I think my question was the one that Hunt asked, is how fast can we come out of it? Do we have to wait for 3 weeks after we get back above 15%, or do you come back immediately? And I mean, maybe that's looking too far down the road right now, but that was my question also.
We'll try to find that out.
Kathy,
Right now, as I understand, from the day they tell us to close to anything but essential workers, there's a minimum of a 3-week period before we can reopen.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I think you get from the time we hit the 15% and the state basically then puts us on notice as a region that you are going to enter the regional stay-at-home order. I believe it's 48-hour notice. And then you're in it.
Okay. Any other questions? Hunt, did you have a question? Another question? Well, Kathy, we again, for the umpteenth time, but we're going to say it anyway. All of us want to thank you for all your help, support, and efforts to help our community in general and to help our industry specifically. And we're going to see you as a neighbor and a friend in your retirement, and we hope you keep in touch with all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. I'll miss working with all of you.
Appreciate you.
Kathy, we'll be looking forward to your memoirs. Because we know there's much more to the story.
Oh man, it'll be called "Hell is a Small Town." That'll be
Oh God.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure working with all of you, and you guys are consummate professionals. And this is, I know this has been just a hell of a road, but you've all done good work. And I think just the collaboration of the TID, and I just want to thank the TID. I mean, there's a lot of places where the TIDs are less maybe community oriented. This is a very community oriented group, from supporting the initial increase in the TOT to just a variety of leadership. So I want to thank all of you for your leadership and experience. And I think some of the new members with Chris and Ruben coming on are great, and Hunt, great new energy and expertise. And, Dan and Norm, you guys have carried this for a long time and really appreciate the legacy that you built. So thank you.
Thank you. With that said, we wish you luck. And Jim, do you want to take over with the marketing of it?
Sure. And I'll just keep it kind of quick here. So hello, everybody. Obviously, well, first I'll just say, our advertising, I turned it all off. There's no reason to throw money after in anticipation that we're going to be shut down. So everything's turned off. That being said, we were in the New York Times in a full page ad in the Bay Area. We got a free ad from someone I used to know in someone I still know, but she works in San Francisco, works for SF Arts. They had a full page availability. So we had a great full page ad right around Thanksgiving, telling people to come check out Sonoma Valley. And so hopefully that message will play over through all of this. But look great. Thank you to everybody, and especially the TID, and hopefully you saw it, the Lighting of the Plaza event. Most views we've had on any YouTube video. A lot of people watching on Facebook. It was fantastic, and we're dribbling out smaller ones. We'll be putting out today's the first night of Hanukkah, so we're releasing the Hanukkah song tonight on Facebook and stuff. So it's great that we have about 15 different little smaller videos that we can keep people entertained and thinking about Sonoma Valley. Especially now that maybe if things have changed. But thank you to the TID. Yeah, go ahead.
Tim, I just want to tell you the quality of some of those performances was like the cello and the whatever those. I mean, some of that was absolutely. It was beautiful with the setting.
Well,
there's something to capture some of that magic, and with in the future, even if we're back to oral. But there's just some really interesting, great work.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was really nervous, didn't sleep for a month, and then all of a sudden I started seeing the performances come in. I'm like, where are these people hiding? And it was phenomenal.
It was.
And Chris, I really enjoyed your cameo. Chris showed up and gave us cheers, so he had his 7.5 seconds of fame. It was great. So
thanks for the opportunity.
So the lights are a big hit, and it's good. I think it's the biggest thing the TID invests in that the town is aware of and really sees. So this is great. Other big thing, we have our new shopping map out. So we're encouraging people to shop local, and we're giving it out to people. And it's been very well received by the local retailers. So we're making sure people know that there is a chance to keep their money locally, especially this year. It's really important as much as possible. Final thing is Q1 plans. Our plans are going to be to promote off-season, the outdoors, wellness, springtime. So Kathy, good to hear that there's a forecast for possible springtime recovery. The good news is with buying digital advertising solely this year, we're able to turn everything off and we don't owe money. So I'm just waiting on when we can invest those dollars to encourage people to come. And Dan, of course, will focus on San Francisco Bay Area, Sacramento, those drive markets, Northern Southern California. And it looks like 2021, 2022 is when we go back out to the bigger markets, when hopefully we're back in a full recovery. So it's not a lot to report right now because there's not a lot going on, but we're continuing to keep the Sonoma Valley messaging out there. And we'll just tailor the visit now to visit later message.
Thank you, Tim. Are there any questions? Chris, Ruben, Dan?
Oh.
None? I think you're doing the right thing by pulling in all the ad dollars and deferring it to what Kathy referred to as our boom period, according to the UCLA report. We'll do a lot of save up our money for when there are customers out there, not for what's happening. That being said, are there any other items that we should bring before the board today? Anybody have any subject they want to talk about? If not, we're going to go to the action items, which is the approval of the minutes of November the 12th, last meeting. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll move to approve.
Second,
Is there a second?
second,
Okay.
Are there any comments or questions on the minutes as been distributed? If not, I'm going to call for the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, would you note, Mr. Secretary, it's unanimous.
Okay.
Are there any items that we would like to add to the agenda for the January meeting? If not, I'm going to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year and a Happy Hanukkah. And I will ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. And everybody will all have a healthy and very economically prosperous 2021. We'll all figure it out. We'll all be here smiling. And we'll invite you back, Kathy, to see smiling faces. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
To adjourn.
Oh, good. We can get out of here.
And a second, please. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Again, everybody have a happy holiday season. The meeting's officially over, and thank